What's up, YouTube? Cholula Comics here today, and I'm very happy to be able to bring you my entry to Airborne Sapper Comic Fan's 200 sub contest giveaway that he just started. Airborne is dope. I don't know why you guys would be sub to me if you're not sub to Airborne. Airborne's the homie. I brought out a ton of stuff for this video, for this contest entry. He's doing a build your own Comic Con. What would you do? Who would you bring in? That kind of stuff. So you're gonna build your own Comic Con, and man, that's a really cool idea, bro. So I'm really happy to be doing this, and I'm really happy to be doing this video for you. I feel real bad that I missed your first one just because I had a bunch of stuff going on. But anyways, here we go. Let's get into it. So the first thing he asked you to do is name your con. I'm not super creative when it comes to naming stuff. So honestly, but I think it fits, and I got a tagline for it. So the name of my con is gonna be Cholula's Comic Con. My tagline is gonna be hottest comics on the block. You get it? Because Cholula hot sauce. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna try to do it like a little picture of what my a logo of what my con logo should be. So I'm either gonna put it on the thumbnail, which you guys should have seen if you clicked on the video, or maybe I'll put it in this some way. But anyways, two headliners for the con. So he wants you to pick two headliners for this con. Man, this was really tough because I really wanted to pick, and he said you could pick comic book artists or authors who are alive or dead. It doesn't matter. You can pick whoever you want. And I was really tempted to go with Stan Lee or or someone like that. And I've seen Stan Lee, so I'm gonna stay away from that one for now because I mean, like he's legend. He's like comic royalty. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna stay away from him, and I'm gonna pick two guys who are some of my favorites. First, I'm gonna have to pick. I mean, if you guys know me, if you've seen my videos, I love X-Men. X-Men is my thug, like Wolverine, but X-Men. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have to go with Chris Claremont. So I got this key issue there. Of course, I got my Days of Future Past, and of course this one. I'm thinking in terms of stuff that I would like to talk to these guys about and possibly get them to sign. So Chris Claremont would be number one, and number two, and I know I show this book all the freaking time, would be of course Mr. Frank Miller, my Wolverine number one. Here's my Dark Knight book 4, and here is just a Daredevil, just a real simple Daredevil cover that Frank Miller did, but it's just he had such a long great run on Daredevil, but this is one that I like because of its simplicity. I know it sounds weird, but just a cover that I really like. Then he wants you to pick 3 artists again, or writers, dead or alive, who you would want to see at the con. These guys are pretty big names as well, so it was hard to pick who the hierarchy of who the headliners are and who the featured guys are, but I'm gonna have to go with big bad Mr. Todd McFarlane. Of course, that's Spider-Man number 1. Here's my Christmas present that I just got. Spider-Man number 300. Love this cover right here, you guys. And this is actually a swipe right there. Like he did them both. So that's pretty dope. Spawn, the Incredulous Spawn 226, and of course the Incredible Hulk number 340. So love those two covers there. And this is just another great cover by Mr. McFarlane, Batman number 75. I'm sorry, number 423, 75. Dummy. So that's my number 1 featured artist. Next, I got Mr. George Perez. I think would be another person that I would love to see, and I'm super jealous, dude, because I saw your picture and I know you just met him. So, man, that's dope, man. I'm glad you got a chance to meet him, and I would love to get these books here signed by Mr. George Perez. The whole Infinity Gauntlet series, Teen Titans. This is the first appearance of Nightwing, Robin as Nightwing, and here's the Infinity Crisis on Infinite Earths. And let me tell you guys, for those of you who know me, I'm not the biggest Superman fan. I'm really not. But check this out. Let me tell you guys why I chose this cover. I saw a video not too long ago, and people were talking about this cover. And this is such an iconic cover. And to be honest, and I know I just showed that Claremont X-Men was the first book that I showed. And actually, that's kind of a homage or a cover swipe to this one because Superman and Supergirl are in the same position that Scott and Jean were. But if you guys pay attention, look at the detail. Look at the detail in the dude. It's like 100 superheroes in the background. You got Wonder Woman and Batman down here, and there's just so many, and they're drawn so small, and the amount of the attention to detail. That's why this cover ended up being my favorite. It was gonna be the death of Barry Allen, but this one by George Perez, man. And last and but certainly not least, my third featured artist. Talk about X-Men, right? Of course, Claremont, but X-Men growing up for me, man, Jim freaking Lee, you guys. Jim Lee. Like, you think about X-Men, is Jim Lee. Who else is it gonna be? So I got my X-Men #1 with all the different, variants. Man, look at Wolverine and Cyclops. Ugh, how do you not like Jim Lee's artwork? You know what I mean? It's just so dope. Look at these Mylars are sticking. I love Mylars, but they have a tendency to stick. Look at Magneto. Baddest villain of all time. Magneto's the baddest villain of all time. Love Magneto. Look at how strong he is. Omega Red, Wolverine. Dude, I don't nothing else to say. It's like back in the days when Marvel's favorite tagline was "Nuff said." Nuff said, man. Jim Lee. I don't even know who else. I had a couple of other, I guess my other honorable mentions. Personally, I really love Frank Cho. I love what he does. I love. I really like Humberto Ramos. He's another one that I really like. Different styles, a little bit different, but if I had to pick three, these are my top three. And if you notice my theme, I'm sticking with guys that are alive. I know you gave us the option to pick dead or alive, but I'm gonna stick with people who are alive. Next, he asked us to pick. So that was question number 3. Number 4, he wants you to pick if you could pick any movie cast, who would you have there? And for me, it's got to be the cast of Days of Future Past. And this is kind of a cheat in a way, in that everybody's in this. Like, you got, of course, Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. You have both of the Professor X's. You have both of the Magnetos. You get to double up. It's like 2 for 1 on this one. And I mean, I love this movie. This is one of my favorite X-Men movies to date. Hopefully Logan doesn't disappoint, but this is one of my favorite ones to date. So it has to be Days of Future Past for me. As far as TV shows, he wants you to pick, of a cast of TV shows, who would you want to be? And if we get to pick anything, dude, this is my favorite TV show of all time. I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. The way these characters interact with each other, the way that their characters grow, or I guess not even grow, the way that they revert, but the way that they're just all a bunch of jerks, but they make it work. And Charlie Day and Dennis and Dee and Frank, who's played by Danny DeVito, and man, they're just awesome show. If you guys haven't seen it, get on it, get to it. This is a great show. If that doesn't count, you want it to be more comic book related, then hands down, I don't have anything to show it off, but it would be the cast of the Flash, the new I guess, is it WDB or CW Flash. That's a great show. That show, as a matter of fact, reminded me. I grew up a Marvel guy. Like, I love Marvel. As you can see by the wall behind me, I love Marvel. I really like DC, so I'm not like one or the other. I really like DC too, and my collection of books is much smaller for DC. It's much more, I guess, specialized. Whereas Marvel, I kind of run the gamut. But that show reminded me that the very first comic book I ever bought was a Flash comic book, because I love the colors. I love the way the superpower. Like, who doesn't love the Flash? I mean, as you can tell, red is my favorite color. I didn't even do that on purpose, but anyway, yeah, and I think that this particular series is done really well, It can be kind of heavy. It can be lighthearted. It's funny. Um, they show great villains in that they're not villains that are often used. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. It's just, it's a great series. I'm really enjoying it. So it'd be the cast of The Flash. He also asked if you could have the cast of any animated show, who would you pick? Bro, you hit it nail on the freaking head. Nailed it on the head with Futurama. This is one of, it's not my all-time favorite, but it's definitely one of my favorite shows in that, I mean, dude, you got Billy West, like, he's hilarious. He does so many voices. Um, you have Katie Seagal, who is the voice of Leela, and if you don't know her from there, she's from Married with Children. She's from Sons of Anarchy. It's like win win win. You got John DiMaggio, who I freaking love. John DiMaggio, he's hilarious as Bender. He's also the voice of oh man, Jake the dog on Adventure Time, which is another show that I don't think is talked about enough. That's a great show. I mean, I don't watch it all the time, but it's a great show. I enjoy watching every episode of Adventure Time. And he also played the Joker, which is perfect because that's in comics right there. He's actually, uh besides freaking Luke Skywalker, right? He's my favorite Joker animated by far. You have Tress MacNeille, who's the voice of various characters on there. She was the voice of Dot on Animaniacs. She was the voice of, she's on so many like random Simpsons characters voice. Tress MacNeille is the shit. If you guys haven't seen her, check her out. She's awesome. And of course, you got Phil Lamar, who's the voice of Hermes Conrad, and these other voices on there as well. He was the voice of Samurai Jack. So you nailed it on the head with this. Futurama, absolutely, hands down, would be the cast that I would pick um, to be there at Cholula Comic Con. And let's see, what else did you ask? I wrote some of this stuff down. Wrestlers, okay. Don't hate me, bro, but I'm not really into wrestling. I was when I was younger, when I was a kid, and I'm dating myself because you're gonna see the wrestlers that I used to like. I mean, dude, I grew up with Dusty Rhodes, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Jake the Snake Robertson, Roddy Piper. You know those. Um, so I guess if I had to pick one wrestler to be there, it would have been Macho Man Randy Savage. I'm gonna stick with Macho Man because you know what? And he was in the Spider-Man movie too. Macho Man, that's what I'm going with. Macho Man's a shit. Um, and if you had to pick a band or an artist to be there to, I guess, entertain at the show, uh, so check this out. I got two, and I was so tempted to just go with my all-time favorites. My all-time favorite obviously would be Pac, and check this out: Pac or Nirvana. So it would have been between those two. But since I'm trying to stick with, you know, alive, artists that are alive, Pac, obviously we lost them. We lost Kurt Cobain, so I'm not going to choose them. The ones I'm going to go with, and this is cool. This is going to be a twofer. I'm going to go with my favorite current band that's alive, even though they're not playing too many shows lately, System of a Down. And System, I believe, is a really cool pick because I recently found out, I didn't know this, actually, Tim Vo from Lords of the Lombox, he let me know that John Dolmayan, who's the drummer of System of a Down, is actually the owner of Torpedo Comics. And freaking bonehead me, dude, I think I talked to him like 4 years ago or 3 years ago at Silicon Valley Comic Con. I was at Torpedo Comics. I was rifling through their stuff. He was there. I think it was him. I was too busy. I was in comic mode and I'm looking through their boxes and I'm trying to find the books that I want, and I'm talking to some guy who's wearing a hoodie. He's a younger guy. He had all this going on, the facial hair, and he had his head, his hair shaved real low, and I was like, this guy looks familiar, but whatever. I'm looking for my books, and I'm talking to him. We have like a 30-minute conversation, but it's one of those, hey, I'm at a con, I'm looking for books conversations when you're talking to the vendor, but you're looking for books. You know what I mean, dude? I freaking think I met him. I like 5 years later, when freaking Tim Tebow was like, "Oh yeah, you didn't know John Dolmayan was the owner of Torpedo Comics?" I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I think I met him. I think I talked to him, and that's like my favorite band ever. Dummy. But anyway, uh, so that System of a Down, that would be number one, and number two, and I can't believe I didn't put this together sooner. I was gonna go with Busta Rhymes as my alive guy because The dude rocks the mic. He's dope. I love Busta Bus. But it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Why didn't I just go with? You guys know who this is? Do you guys know who this is? Run the Jewels. We got Killer Mike and LP. Run the freaking Jewels. I love Run the Jewels. If you guys don't know, Airborne Sapper Comic Fan has been putting together these awesome videos of all of the hip hop covers. I went ham and bought damn near all the hip hop covers. I don't got time to show all the hip hop covers, but the whole thing started off with a Run the Jewels cover, and this is just a homage one. I don't have the original. I wish I did, but you see the hand in the shape of the gun pointing to the chain on the rope there, the rope chain, the golden chain there. So that's all of their album covers are like that for Run the Jewels. Every single one of their album covers is like that. So they were paying homage to Run the Jewels, and that kind of kickstarted Marvel's whole hip hop cover stuff. So I bought this, which is like the hip hop covers. It shows kind of like a lot of them. And Killer Mike actually sent in a letter, a really cool letter. I'm gonna see if I can leave it up like this, so that way you guys can read the entirety of it. If you want to like pause like right there and read it, you know, you feel free to do it. It's actually a really cool and introspective look into Killer Mike and his thought process. And apparently he's been reading comics since he was little. He says, you know, that he grew up in comics. Comics became the thing for me and my dad, and that was our thing. They used to go into comic shops in Atlanta, Georgia all the time. It's kind of something that helped keep him out of trouble as a youth. He's all, without question, Marvel's hip hop variants are cool because they show how far reaching hip hop's influence has grown. And he says, but they're even cooler when you consider how perfect the pairings of the covers are. You know, you have Nas's Illmatic cover for Miles Morales. The debut of the Marvel Universe proper couldn't have been more, you know, more on point. He's another impressive thing about these covers is the range of the artists and the albums that are chosen. He's a Lil B's Blue Flame cover. He's all, that says it all. The Sugar Hill Gang, Tupac. You know, you got all these other ones, and he says they even found a way to incorporate Vanilla Ice in a Deadpool cover. He's all, and it makes perfect sense. So he says this was clearly done with the love and the type of responsibility we could only hope more people take the cue when representing such an influential art form in my life. He's all, not to mention they look cool as shit, which is true. And that's I love it. He summed everything up, and it's a long letter. But check it out, you guys. If you get a second, pause it. Check out what he said. Very well worded from the wordsmith Killer Mike of Run the Jewels. So with that said, you guys, last one, and this is actually going to be one of my favorites. He says, I want you to design your own con exclusive pop, because another thing that my boy does super well is he does Funko Fridays, where he does all of his Funko Pops. So he does the hip hop covers and he does Funko Fridays. So check those out. All right, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. So my choice for a Funko Pop exclusive con it would be an I Love Lucy pop. So she would be in all black and white with her signature red hair, and that would be the only cover on. That would be the only color on that pop. Signature red hair, and I Love Lucy done in black and white. As far as I know, and I've looked and I've searched, I've even done on the Funko Pop website, there's no I Love Lucy pops yet. I don't think they have the rights to them. I don't think they can do them, whatever. But that I would freaking love to see that. I've been looking for one. I don't have a whole lot of pops. I know a lot of you guys do. Literally, I have 8, 9, 10. I have about 15 pops, maybe less. I'm just counting the ones here in my room. But I Love Lucy. And then I was even thinking that would be cool if they, because I know sometimes they sell them as sets, like in the big boxes. That would be cool to have one with her and Ricky. And then maybe with the 4 of them, Ricky, Lucy, Fred, and Ethel, all of them in black and white, except for Lucy's hair red, maybe Ricky's tie red, maybe Fred has like a red collar or something, and maybe Ethel's wearing a white dress with red polka dots or something. Like, I don't know. I think that would be cool. That would be my choice. I freaking love Lucy. You guys already know I love the Golden Girls, but I love Lucy. That's like my all-time favorite show. I could watch any episode, any day, all day. All right, you guys. So with that said, that's the end of my video. I know I made it kind of long, but I'm going to cut it right now. I just had to give it. I had to give it a good try because I feel real bad that I missed your last contest, bro. But congratulations, you got to 200. That's really cool. I wish you all the best. Or can you continue support? You know, I'm gonna keep supporting your channel. I'm gonna put a link to your video contest and to your channel in the description below. So all you guys go check out Airborne. It's not just like what the dude gives away, because he's giving away some cool stuff. But I'm telling you guys, he's a cool dude. Check him out. Go see what he got. And that with that said, I'm out. It's Cholulu's Comics. Keep stacking hella comics.